Ian, thank you very much for hosting Coffee and Natter today.
No problem at all.
In fact, congratulations on being our regular host going forward as well. So thank you so much for
looking forward to it. Thank you.
I believe you and I met probably about 2 years ago now, and I was looking for speakers, particularly in terms of educating our community and audience, and a friend of a friend suggested the fact that I contact you as the LinkedIn expert, and it's been 2 years. So,
yes, yeah. And Coffee and Natter has been one of my go-to events.
Yeah, and you've been regularly supporting us since then.
Like to do my best.
So 2 years later, you're now the host of the event that you were a keynote speaker for.
Absolutely.
So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. The work that you do. I know you do LinkedIn. You do a lot of other work as well. You're a governor of schools. You're also trained other governors. Plus, you also do a lot of sales training as well. So, I've actually said it, but I've actually done your job here. I've actually done your job. But
interview over.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tell us a little bit.
I spent many years in the corporate world.
Yeah.
If you've got a good memory, you may remember that when I first came and spoke here, I said, "Hey, I love speaking here because I have an affinity with apprentices."
Yeah.
So I was an apprentice myself.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, I was a tool making apprenticeship in the days where your father went up and signed your life away for 4 years.
Yeah.
A year at college to learn how to ruin their machines as opposed to ruining your company's machines. Yeah. And then three years in their apprentice school, and of course day release and all that sort of stuff. Everything went with it. So I did that. And then several years later, I moved into sales. So a company said to me, a good friend of mine was in sales, he said, "Ian, I think you'd have an affinity with sales." So I went into sales. That was the mid-'80s, and I sort of been in sales ever since. So I worked in the corporate world in sales, working a patch in the Midlands, and then built myself. I became a sales manager, sales director.
That was in the lighting sector?
To start with, no. I did my apprenticeship selling hacksaw blades and bandsaw blades.
Right, okay.
Up against a fierce competitor, a well-known brand that was a market leader by a million miles. So I learned the hard way, but I had a really good trainer, a guy I worked for, showed me the ropes. And then as I went on, I then worked for Honeywell, and Honeywell are renowned for their training.
Yeah.
And I took on all the training I could possibly get, and they trained me very, very well. And then I realised I had an affinity for delivering training.
Yeah.
So I ended up subsequently in another company having my own sales team, and I put a lot I learned into training those guys. And then I got asked, because I was pretty good at it, or so they said, I then got asked to deliver training to other parts of the organisation as well. And I did that for a number of years, and then about 4 years ago, 6 years I got made redundant. Then I got made redundant again. I thought, I'm not going to be made redundant again. I'm fed up of being made redundant.
Yeah.
So I went out on my own, and I thought, what am I good at? And the one thing I was really good at was selling and training people. So I set up my own sales consultancy business to train salespeople, to train people in the art of selling, whether that was in the corporate world or quite often what I call the butcher, baker, candlestick mode.
The SME businesses, small, medium-sized organisations.
You'd be amazed how many people like electricians and plumbers and butchers and whatever they may be, they're very good at doing what they do, but nobody's ever taught them how to sell. And so that was it. And at the similar sort of time, I'd been doing that for a short while, and then I hooked up onto LinkedIn. And I then realised the power of LinkedIn as a marketing tool, and I thought that complemented very nicely what I was doing with sales training. So now most of my time is spent either training people on LinkedIn as a marketing tool, and then helping them to sell better and to turn more opportunities into sales. Okay,
fantastic. In terms of obviously the governor work that you do, if you touch a little bit about that as well for us.
Like a lot of people, I started off, my kids went to primary school, I got the lady in the close where I lived was on the PTA. I got roped in the PTA because those people that know me, I'm a sort of get up and do side of guy and make things happen and like to get involved, so I did that. And then a vacancy became up on the governing board, on the governing body, so I got voted as a parent governor, and effectively have been a governor at schools since then, and that was sort of, my eldest son was born 85, so that was early 90s, so I think about 25 years I've been a school governor. And now as another bolt onto what I do in my business, I also now train school governors. So I'm forever training school governors in the local area. And I'm very proud to say, been elected to the trustee board of the National Governors Association.
Okay. Fantastic. Getting back to sort of networking per se, I mean, obviously, you've publicly said that networking, particularly with Coffee and Natter, is one of your regular things to do. You've restricted yourself in terms of some of the other networking that you do, but just talk about how important networking is. If you're in business, getting yourself out there and so forth.
For me, networking is a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And I say to people all the time, when I talk to people, I'm doing coaching and training, that if you're in business, whether you're a huge multinational or whether you're a small one-man band come solo entrepreneur, then effectively you need to market yourself. Yeah. And there are many aspects to marketing. LinkedIn is one, networking is another, public speaking is another, websites, literature, they all form part of your marketing mix. And part of it is knowing, and I say to these people again, it's amazing how many people don't know where inquiries come from. So one of the magic questions I say to people is, when everybody rings up your business, you need to ask them, how did you find out about us? Yeah. Because you need to know which part of your marketing spend is working. Yeah. But certainly networking for me is a fundamental part of that. Right. And certainly for a couple of years, I got a bit of a reputation as a networking tart. Yeah. And in fact, I got certificates for being a networking tart.
A serial networker.
It didn't actually say networking tart on them, but I got certificates from two different groups of people I work with for being a serial networker. Yeah. Now I am being a little bit more reflective on where I spend my time. Yeah. I think it's important that you spend your time in the right manner. Your time is valuable. Yeah. And you need to be what I call fishing in the right pond. Yeah. And certainly there are some networking events where I've given up. Yeah. Pathway2Grow and Coffee and Natter certainly isn't one of them. We'll talk about it in more detail. Yeah. But I'll give you a great example. I'm a business coach, so I'm trying to help businesses be more effective, particularly around sales and marketing. So I've been going to one for some considerable time, and I thought, this is not really, I don't think, the right arena for me, but let's just do a check. So I went to one event, and you got the 1 minute stand up and said, this is me for 1 minute. And I'd done LinkedIn, and I'd done sales, and I'd done various things. So I just thought, let's be different. So I was just up and said, who would like to be better at doing what you do? And it was like you're giving something away for free. Everybody went, ooh, what does he mean? I said, no, seriously, who would like to be better at doing what you do? And eventually 22 people in the room out of 24 put their hand up. The other two were on their mobile phones, so I let them. Yeah. So then I said, keep your hands up if you are willing to invest time and money in being better at doing what you do. Yeah. And I mean, guess what? All bar 2 hands came down. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? At that stage, this is not the right arena for me. Yeah. So I'm very careful now as to where I spend my time.
Wow. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. A little bit about Pathway2Grow, obviously Coffee and Natter. You're now the regular host going forward. We've had guest hosts for January. You've been sort of standing guest host today, but you are taking the mantle from April onwards. Yep. We've got Shana coming in from March. What's your sort of vision in terms of moving forward with regard to Coffee and Natter? Is it more of the same? What are you looking at?
I want people to view Coffee and Natter like I do. It's one of my must-go-to events. Yeah. I think that's really important. And I think to do that, you need to give people a reason as to why they want to come. Yeah. I think I said today during the opening that people's time is valuable, and they're giving up a half a day. If it's 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock, but by the time they set out from home or stop doing what they're doing and go home, it's half a day. Yeah. So if you think about it, 10 half days a week, it's quite a chunk out of your week. So I think you have to make it worthwhile. Yeah. So we've been doing great stuff. Khalid, my predecessor, did a fabulous job for the 18 months he was in. He's a difficult act to follow, and I'm not going to try and copy him. I think that would be wrong.
No, you've got your own style.
I've got my own style, irreverent sometimes, as people might say. People never get bored in my session. I'd say it's about when people come and see me train or pay to come and see me to do training. I say you will not be bored. You'll get lots of information where you'll not be bored. Yeah. So I wanted to introduce a couple of little things. I'm trying to turn it into a learning exercise while people are here, so they get a little bit of self-development from the session. So for example, today we did the normal 1 minute stand-up elevator pitch, which you always do, but I said to people, here's the thing, first of all, we're not going to use a microphone. So you now need to learn to stand in front of a group of people and project, not just mumble into a microphone. That's too easy, because you never know if a microphone's not going to be available. Yeah. So that was one thing we did. And then secondly, I said, think about what you're going to say, because the biggest mistake that people make in any form of marketing, whether it's stand-up elevator pitch or not, they just stand up and they say, this is what I do. Yeah. And here's a surprising thing I said to people today: people don't give two hoots what you do. What they care about passionately is what you can do for them.
Yeah.
So I said, please, when you're doing your message, by all means say what you do, because we need to know.
Yeah.
But more importantly, please say and share with the room what is it the benefit of somebody working with you brings to that individual, those people. And to be fair, I think most people did that, and most people got a grip to that, and obviously who you're trying to connect with as well.
Okay. Ian, I'm just going to finish off very, very briefly, just in terms of LinkedIn. We've used you in the past. You've been a fantastic trainer and a coach for us as an organisation. We've gained significantly in terms of obviously growth as a result of some of the tactics and some of the training that you've done. Alan, I think, has given you a fantastic testimony as well. Yeah. Myself and the team as well. So I wanted to thank you for that. Any sort of points in terms of for the people that are sort of now on LinkedIn and use it as part of their tool in terms of where LinkedIn is going, and just to sort of finish that off in terms of is LinkedIn still going to be the main sort of
I think we're in interesting times with LinkedIn. I think the easy answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's still a great tool. We're in interesting times. Obviously, Microsoft took over LinkedIn last year and paid a phenomenal amount of money for it.
Yeah.
Most people are now getting on board with the new user interface.
Yeah.
I got mine at the weekend, so I'm still learning my way around it. And I've got a presentation to do tomorrow, so I need to get my head around it very quickly.
Yeah.
But for me, it forms part of the marketing mix. I use it a lot, to be fair. Nearly all the marketing I do is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
A lot of people have fear of LinkedIn. They think people are going to connect with me, they're going to try and sell to me.
Yeah.
And it's no different to any other form of networking. You wouldn't go into a room, shake somebody's hand at a networking event and say, I'm going to sell to you straight away. You need to understand what they do. So LinkedIn is no different. It's an absolutely fabulous tool to find, connect and engage with people in a way you never dreamed possible. I say to people, you never need to make a cold call if you don't want to. You never need to send out an email blast if you don't want to, because you can connect with people on LinkedIn. My definition of marketing, and if you talk to 10 marketeers, they will all have a different view. My view is marketing is anything that you do that gets you to the point of having a one-to-one conversation with somebody. At that point then, for me, business development and sales takes over. So consequently, you can use LinkedIn to find anybody you want to find, send them a nice message and connect with them the right way, and connect with them very, very quickly and have that conversation with them. So it's a fabulous tool. It hasn't changed. It's just doing stuff in a slightly different way.
Fantastic, Ian. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for obviously hosting Coffee and Natter. And again, congratulations, and thank you for coming on board as our regular host for at least this year, at least.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Thank you very much. Cheers, Ian. Thank you.